Hey.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
We're alive. Oh no, my light went off.
Oh no.
No.
This one is quite buggy, like when it turns on, it works fine. But after a couple of minutes, it goes off like suddenly. So
But why?
Solar powered, maybe? And the clouds
it's
come. It's like,
maybe. That's a good point. This one actually, it stocks up the energy through the sunlight. So yeah. But I charged. I took a sneaky way.
wow. So we're late and we come in here chatting about solar powered mini lights. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, hi, everyone.
I think this is the mood for today. It's all over the place, but it's still going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, about lighting, because we all have different lighting right now. I can feel it.
Yeah. So colorful. And
Yeah, if you are joining maybe for the first time, this is our GirlCode Coffee Chat. So glad you found us. And it's already our 10th edition. I can't even grasp that. That's really cool.
yeah, time flies. Yeah, I still remember when we started. So yeah, it feels like is it already this much time flies?
Ages ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and today we want to talk about testing, and actually we have a very, very special guest to come on in a second. Anything else that we wanted to cover before we bring her on?
I would say actually not too much big news, but I cannot wait to have her.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Should we do drum roll?
Hey.
Yeah.
Finally.
I'm serious.
Hi, Debbie.
Hello, Debbie. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having me. Even though it's super hot and I'm like, oh my God, it's the worst time to record something.
Yeah.
Sorry about
It's
that.
pretty serene.
Hey, Elro in the chat.
Yeah. He's always there. All right. So before we get going, I wanted to ask you, Debbie, to introduce yourself so that, our audience will get to know about you better.
Okay, let me see if I know who I am. So yes. So my name is Debbie and I work for Microsoft now, basically advocating for Playwrite. And what else can I say? I live in Mallorca, and normally if you follow me on Twitter, you'll find me cycling and running around the island and doing lots of sport and having fun, because life is about having fun. And yeah, I have a website, devand.code. So if you ever want to read any of my blog posts
Really
and my
cool.
story on how I got to where I am today, check that out. Thanks. That's about it.
And don't forget to say all the titles that you have, because you are Google Developer Expert, you were Microsoft MVP, because
Yes.
now you can't because you are working there, isn't it?
I know. I lose my title. It's so sad. The same with the GitHub Star. It's like I can't take GitHub Star anymore. I'm an alumni.
Oh, you're not
No, wait.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, they bought it. That's true. Oh, that's
So they can't send me any more free gifts.
That's fun. I thought they still do. If you became alumni, is it only
No more swag. No more swag. I'm an alumni, but no more swag.
oh no. Well, but in the conference, of course, you will grab it, isn't it?
Yeah.
For sure? No need to buy anything. You get everything from conferences. So today,
Sorry.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say this is the first thing that really stood out, because everybody shares their tech stuff and it's very cool. But I saw the massive rounds that you do with your bike and the running, and I was like, okay, this is really impressive. I need to follow her. How do you send it in this weather? Isn't it super hot right now in Mallorca?
Yeah, you have to go early or late in the evening. So you have to change. I mean, cycling's fine in the heat, because you could just obviously it's not fine. It depends. you change your route, right? You stop doing such strenuous mountain ones and you do more flatter routes, and you take loads of water and electrolytes and stop and But it doesn't stop you from actually doing that. And then running, you just go early in the morning or in the evening, like late at like 9 o'clock when it's cooler, but it's never cool anymore. It's like we just hot. But you just got to do it, and you just sweat more, and
That's really cool.
Could be worse.
Yeah, sorry, but Arisa, I have interrupted you. Please go ahead with your first.
Oh, no. I actually also wanted to, like share a bit of like your cool hobbies from Debbie, because I mean, like our life is not just doing work stuff, right? I mean, it needs to be fun. So our audience also, of course, want to know you more about like, like not just the work part, but also like as a nice, awesome person. So good point, Josefine.
Well, I'll tell you something that happened, right? So during COVID in Spain, we had probably, I think, one of the worst times where we were locked up for like 7 weeks, and we were not allowed to leave the apartment to go for a walk or do any sport. So you were literally in jail. And I was very lucky to have a roof terrace. So I would run around the roof terrace, which is small, but I would do 10 kilometers running around in circles and changing every minute so my ankles didn't get like, bad. And that was the most outdoor thing I could do, which is nothing. It's terrible. So I felt like in jail. I felt like jumping off the balcony sometimes. And when I finished, and when basically I said, right, when the government let us out, and they let us out for 2 hours a day, between the hours of, say, 8 in the morning to 10 in the morning, and then you had to be back in, the helicopters would fly over, and then the old people were allowed out, and then the kids were allowed out. So we were 2 hours allowed to do sport a day. And then I thought to myself, right, the government is stopping me from doing more than 2 hours of sport, but in real life, who is stopping me from doing more than 2 hours of sport? In my previous job, I was literally just working. I'd go in early, and then I'd finish at like say 4 o'clock, but I wouldn't finish at 4. I'd be still there at 6, and maybe still there at 7. Then I'd come home, and then I'd take a meeting. And then I said, no, I'm going to change this. And so I challenged myself to see if I could do 3 hours of sport a day.
Oh my God, but that's...
Yeah. It was every single day. Because if you say 3 hours, right, and you miss an hour because maybe you decide to go running, and you're probably not going to run for 3 hours. So you go for a run and maybe do some yoga or something. There's your 2 hours. Okay, maybe I didn't do 3 hours that day, but it doesn't matter because Saturday I'll do 5 hours on the bike, and that will compensate, right? And it's amazingly insane how for almost 2 years, I've like kept up to doing 3 hours of sport a day, or at least attempting to do it, or doing at least 15 hours of sport a week.
My God.
Maybe we should have like another episode to invite.
I just need to know 1 hour a week.
See, if I retire, I'm actually going to like teach developers how to do sport. I'm going to be a sports coach for developers.
Yeah. We need it.
We need it. Definitely. I want to invite you to like doing such activities.
Well, but Arisa is also in sports.
Yeah.
I mean,
in the snow.
Joseph.
Yeah, in the snow, but also skating. She's a skater. That's really cool.
I just pick random stuff, In winter, I do snowboarding, and in the summer, I do longboards. Sometimes a bit of skate, but doesn't mean that I'm really good. I just like pick random
stuff. To be good. I'm not good at sport either. So like, I do stuff, and I play paddle, and I lose most of the time. Doesn't matter, but it's about getting out and getting away from the computer and mentally recharging yourself, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Actually, this way of thinking is quite important, I realize. I mean, like personally too, and also by seeing the others also like doing it. I mean, I know this. I mean, like episode that we are gonna host this testing, but just sorry for going a little bit wrong. But I thought it's really nice, because you have such a nice hobbies. Also, I see these, like nice activities, like showing everyone that look, life is not just about the work. You also need to take the balance, stuff like that. I mean, through like your social media. So I was like, why not to take the opportunity? So yeah.
And I'll also tell you just something else before we go into testing. People say like, how do you do it and stuff? And obviously, like I started with Microsoft, most of my team are in America. So my hours have changed, right? And I'm dealing with like 9-hour time differences. So I had to change my life around. So now I live my life in the morning because I work till 9 o'clock at night. And the benefit of that is I would do sport in the morning. So I have no excuses. You get up and you get it done. Now, if I was to work in the morning, I probably wouldn't do this as much sport because
Yeah,
it's hard to finish. And then you kind of like, you're on the computer and then you might open Twitter and you might open something else. And then you start doing, and next minute it's like dinner time and you're like, oh, I haven't had time to run today. Whereas now it's like you get up, you get it done, and then you can open the computer.
Yeah, totally. I really love that about flexible or semi-flexible work hours that we have with everybody being remote, right? You can kind of schedule it in between. If you don't have a meeting, you just put a blocker, go for a run for an hour or something.
Exactly.
And I just remembered, because that's why I love so much when people also share their like private stuff or what else they do, because it reminds you that, hey, it's okay. Like people, they share their work, they share their accomplishments, and they do a lot, but they also do other stuff. And it's so important for all of us to be like, get out of that little bubble and then just do something else and be a real person for like an hour or two a day, right? So no, that's really, really good. Yeah. I could talk about this for the entire
Yeah. I know. And Debbie also has really cool, like background before getting into tech too. So, but also probably like should stick.
We could talk for like 10 hours.
You will have 2 more, like another future episode, maybe possible invitation.
A whole series.
Okay, but probably like this time we should get going. So, we have a couple of like kind of prepared questions, but we tried to, like prioritize to pick the questions that are coming from the audience. But before, I guess like we should get going. I'm also like, let's say like not a super expert about like when it comes to testing. And honestly, like I've never used Playwrite. So this is actually kind of a good place for everyone to get to know about like what is, first of all, like testing, what is it good for that, and how Playwright works, things like that. So I guess these kind of one-on-one stuffs would probably like give kind of enough information for audiences to have better idea, and maybe will help them to come up with like something interesting for them to ask you questions. So I guess with that, maybe we can start asking you about, I have a little note in here, and let me put it up. I'm going to start with, maybe like not serious, but I'm going to say like, can you explain the importance of the software testing? I guess maybe that would be one of the good questions to start.
I would say, what do you think is the importance of testing? If you have an application and you don't test, right, then are you missing out on anything? If you go and test your application, what are you gaining? What do you think you're gaining when you test?
Well, if you don't test anything and ship into product, into prod, you're going to miss a lot of things that might carry out the bugs. So it's actually not going to be a pleasant experience for the developers who are going to use these softwares or the users in general, because you don't want to, like put the responsibilities to the users to tell you like, hey, you have a bug, can you fix it? Like before making them asking you later on, you can find by yourself. If you can do that, why not? That's what I feel the importance of the software testing.
From a company perspective, you're also potentially losing a lot of revenue, I'm guessing, right? Because who knows what's broken? What if it's the customer journey that leads to like sales or something?
Yeah. So I would ask you out there in the audience, if you think you're the type of programmer who never, ever, ever makes a mistake, then maybe you don't need testing. That's fine. You go ahead. You are perfect. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I need to test my application so I can walk away at the end of the week and I'm confident that my code is not going to break production and that the company's not going to lose money because of me.
Yeah. Actually, like, it's hard for not making mistakes. I even have a mindset. I don't know about like everyone, but I have a mindset of like trying out, and then if things are breaking, that's fine. By breaking it, you're going to experiment what it works, what it doesn't work. So, like at least your users didn't have to suffer. So you can test it out before your users will have these kind of, let's say, like work in progress, features going on. Yeah. So I have this kind of mindset. So that's why I think testing is important.
And if you
But
work
now-
with like lots of team members as well, remember that like you're not all, it's not just about you're working with other people and it's hard to like collaborate on something together if you're not going to write tests and protect that code so the next person can come in and make sure that they carry on from what you've done and be confident to add those new features.
But now I'm curious. Say the truth.
Yeah.
Tell me which companies before Playwrite actually were implementing testing in their solutions.
So that is a great question. And I will say of all of them I worked for, it was me and some of my colleagues that worked at me, depending on the company, who were pivoting the whole testing scene and bringing it into there, right? So I worked for Lucky Travel, for example. When I first worked there, they didn't have a lot of testing, some small unit tests, but they didn't have end-to-end testing. We brought that into them. We trained the developers into a testing mindset. We enforced testing. We put linters on, and like that was a nightmare. Never just put linters on and say now you have to lint your code because and they couldn't push anything to production. It was a nightmare. So we had to take it back and then like slowly teach them. Then I worked for an agency, so I worked for a lot of companies, really good companies, Barcelona hotels, Melia hotels, etc. They didn't have testing. We brought testing in to them, and I would like to hope that they continue now to test. Once you've set it up and you kind of say, look, I'm going to show you how easy this is. This is what you should test. This is how you should do it. And then that's it, right? Someone has to be the advocate. Someone has to be the person that goes in and says, we need to do this. Because if that developer out there doesn't do it, if I didn't do what I did, none of those companies would be testing today.
Yeah, that's the thing. Every time I try to do testing in a company, it's like they only said that it's taking so much time in the spring that is really difficult and not everyone understands it. It's like, what is the gap between developers and testing that we never overcome? It's like every time I see new features, new platforms, whatever, and people start using them, but after a month, they stop using it. And they have the setup in their project, but they don't test anything again. It's really, really complex.
It has to become a culture, right? And it's really, really important. So you can take something like accessibility, adding alt tags to your images, right? I worked for a lot of companies that had no alt tags. We're losing in performance when you do that, a Google Lighthouse test. And you basically have to say, right, every time you add an image, you need an alt tag. And once people start to do that, it becomes automatic, right? So now it's like when you ship that code, you need to have that test. And someone needs to review that pull request, and someone on the team needs to be like kind of in charge of that and be the kind of like bad school teacher, I'm not going to let this pass unless the test is written. And even if the test is not perfect, it's a good start, right? We can improve, we can get better, but let's start. Let's be accessible and let's just add the alt image. Now, later on, we'll add the area roles. We'll work on it, but we need to start somewhere.
That's a good point. I like it. Like at least try to do the skeleton of the test so you have something to work with. That's cool.
Yeah. And I see Alvaro saying testing need to be the part of the product culture. So once you bring it into your culture, then I guess as a whole team, they will have also like this mindset. So bringing into as part of the culture is the key, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm guessing it also depends on the size of the company though, right? Because the bigger, the more they have to lose, I would assume.
Yeah, I used to work for a big company who had a team just for bug fixing. That's all they did all day long, every day, bug fixing.
Whoa,
They would
that's a funny feeling.
If they wrote tests, they wouldn't be employed. So they didn't want to write tests because then they thought they'd lose their job. And it's like, oh God, know what it's about.
Oh, no. It shouldn't be also depending on whether you will lose your job or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I actually have like a new question came up in my mind. See, I guess we've heard about like test-driven development. So I was wondering about like, what do you think about test-driven development from your perspective?
I think if you know how to do that and you're comfortable doing that, that's amazing. But my brain does not work that way. I cannot do that. I need to visually see something and then test that. I cannot write a test and then write the code. I just can't do it. But if you do it, perfect.
That's interestingly, like, actually, I felt the same way, like when I was trying to do the test-driven development. So I was like, maybe just me at the time, like feeling, but I felt like, oof, I cannot come up with, writing the test. So, I mean, otherwise I cannot get going. So the thing I did is like, I actually ended up not doing it, reverse back again. But maybe like it's just the preference, depending on what you're more faster to work on or what you're more, like better to understand. So I think I'm also kind of type of the person, maybe not good at start writing from the test, but need to have something visualized material.
Yeah. Because then you can see the user journey and kind of understand what you want to test. Because if you start off trying to create the user journey to test, then write the code that does that, I don't know, it's right. Yeah.
Yeah, actually now I'm thinking if you didn't work with UXers, maybe it's a pain because we are not UXers. So how we can know the flow, but if we have one, maybe it will be easier for us.
True.
Yeah, I think I never worked with UXers, always with UI designers. That's but maybe the flow, I needed to invent it,
Yeah, it's like really clearly written out either in a ticket with like very, very specific quality criteria, or if you have like a user flow, then it makes sense, right? But otherwise it just sounds very fancy, but in reality it's, at least for me, it's super abstract. I'm so happy to hear that other people feel the same way.
Totally.
And there's the part of streaming, like in our GirlCode Coffee chat, right? I kind of use display to figure it out. Yeah. Feel the pain together.
Very true. And what you said about the culture shift and accessibility, I found that so interesting because there it's the same, right? Like it takes forever to get people on board. And then if they are, there's no walking back, or it feels like mostly there's no walking back. It's like, then you just go for it and you do it. And once you put like the mechanisms in place to kind of gently enforce it. And I remember that where I worked before, we had I think you couldn't merge a commit unless you had X amount of like test coverage or something. And in the beginning, that was horrible. And we hated the person who enforced it because you couldn't merge anything and it would take forever and it just messed with everything. And then it made a lot of sense because we got better and better and better and we learned from it. So you have to like mainly force people to do the right thing.
Yeah, but that's in everything in life.
And we can end the entire show.
It's like talking about cultures, and we'll go to Arisa, right? You're like, Japanese originally, right? You go to Japan and everything just stands in the most perfectly correct line to get on the train. And everyone gets on the train in order. That is impossible to do in Spain. That will never happen, right? They have a great culture.
It's not big enough for stretching that with.
Now, if we were to change the culture of the Spanish to be more like the Japanese, it would take a decade. No, it would take 100 years to get there, right? But we would get there. But you'd have to force them to do it, and then it would become like from small people up. And again, we'll take the example from Alba, who's in the Netherlands, right? Everyone cycles in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Why are the Spanish not cycling? Why are there so many cars on the road? We're giving out about traffic all the time in Spain. Well, why are we not cycling? The culture's not there. Now, how can we fix that? We could start with the 2-year-olds, put them on a bike and have them cycling to school every day. And by the time they're adults, they will become a culture. But they're driven everywhere. So therefore, when they're older, they drive everywhere because that's what they're used to.
Yeah, but
Josefine, I don't know where you're from, so I can't say something about you.
She's from Hamburg.
And Germany, we cycle a lot too, but it's a lot of these things, right? Like the Germans, they will really get mad if you get out of line, but then they will also elbow their way to the front. So it's all about culture.
It is, yeah. And I've seen Alba just put in the chat, let's teach the kids to do end-to-end testing. Well, first, let's teach them to code, right? Let's bring it in at an early stage.
We want TDD, we can first end-to-end then code.
But we should be changing the culture of the students out there who are learning to code, that, it's not something that is an afterthought at the boot camps, but that testing comes, that when they walk into a company and they see people aren't testing, they think it's strange, like, whoa, how can I change this here? But if you're not teaching testing in your workshops as something of part of like teaching front-end developer, you're not going to teach them the testing, we need to change that culture. We need to fix that.
And we can do that in Storyblok because we are not doing it. When I do a workshop, I never write it. Never.
Why not? What's the problem?
The problem is the time.
The time. No.
You have to create an application from scratch till the end. It's like, yeah. But maybe I'll implement it first and then copy paste during the work.
Copy paste.
Yeah.
Copy paste. Did you say copy paste? Why would you copy paste?
No. I mean,
the most mistakes happen with copy paste.
No, I don't do that. I mean, if we do that, we can have more time. That's the problem. Without doing it, I take time because,
okay.
Of course, yeah.
How long do you think it takes you to write a test? Say you've built your beautiful app. I don't know. It's an app that, I don't know, has snowboarding stuff. And
if it's an app from scratch without an SDK, it's not that much. But when you have an SDK that is already working on, I mean, I need to mock the code, things like that, and I don't like that. I mean, I take so much time doing that.
Okay, well, let's not complicate life for now. Let's take a simple application, right? And you want to just test, I don't know, the add to cart button or something like that, something simple. How long is it going to take you to just get started and write that test, or just test the menu, the navigation menu, something simple?
Yeah, no, that would be simple, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
So why don't you do it?
Yeah, because as I told you, I tried it already on my own projects, and the SDK, I had so much painful with that. And that's the main part of the application. The only part we have in our application is a dynamic page using the route and the SDK. And the SDK is mounting all the components. So if I don't have that mock, I'm fucked.
You know, I'm making a video for you right now on how to make it really easy to mock.
We can actually right now.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. All right. I'm gonna show you how easy it is, at least to get started with Tessie. We'll see how much time we have to do something like really, really cool, but at least to get it up and going. So you've never used Playwrite, Alba, no?
Well, no.
No. Okay.
We use it.
That's okay. It's okay. At least you're testing. At least you're testing. I'm going to teach you some New Year's friends. Yeah. Okay.
So quickly.
Don't worry. I used to use Cypress at all the companies I worked for as well, because Playwright wasn't around back then. So, you know, that's what we had to use. But now, So, Alba, if you want to share your screen when you're ready with VS Code or something, lovely. Excellent. So just like open an empty project, just so you have something, like just create a new project or something.
Okay, but you mean no, a new one, not the ones I already have.
Yeah, just because we don't have to, but I'm just going to do this because it's easier. So imagine, like, you know, this could be a new project, or you could be adding a test into an already created project. So you can
okay, that would be nice. Yeah,
whatever website you have.
Let me find the late one I did. Okay, doesn't exist.
Patch doesn't exist.
You did remove it. Why are you always removing every folder I open? That's crazy. Well, yeah. So now we have an Svelte application.
Okay, excellent.
With Storyblok.
So what we're going to do is use the VS Code extension, because personally, I think it's the best way to use Playwrite, because it's really simple to just do everything. And I like pushing buttons and clicking stuff rather than like terminal stuff. So yeah, type in Playwrite. And the one verified by Microsoft, that's the one you want. And then you can just close that thing. And then what you're going to do is open the command panel of VS Code. You can close the terminal. We don't need the terminal at all.
That's cool. I mean,
so you know how to open the command panel? I think it's like Command Shift P or something like that.
So Shift P. Yeah. The problem is I'm a Windows user and I changed to Mac, so yeah, I'm messing up around every day. But yeah, okay.
Oh, I didn't know you were a Windows user.
Yeah, because before I had my own computer, not the Mac. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to do install Playwright is the one you want to do.
Well, that's really cool. How do you use Chrome? Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to ask you, do you want Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit, right? Which, you know, let's test all browsers. You can always say, no, I only test on Chrome and just choose one. And it doesn't matter. Like, I don't have Firefox installed on my computer. It doesn't matter. That will install the browser binary so that it can test against Firefox without you having Firefox. And that's why it works across Windows, Mac, everything. It doesn't matter what platform you're on. And then the bottom one
Mind-blowing.
is really cool, which is the add the GitHub actions workflow.
That's
So that
perfect.
means it's just going to do all the work for you. And then when you just push to GitHub, it's just going to run your tests on every piece. You don't have to do
Broke
it.
everything.
No DevOps needed. So click on OK. And that will install. And you can see it's installing the browser Chromium, browser Firefox, browser WebKit, and everything that's needed for Playwright to do its stuff. It doesn't take too long. And once you do that, you do that obviously for every project that you're working on.
Maybe like I can ask you this quick question while we wait. Facundo, our awesome colleague, asked you, what do you like the most about the Playwright?
The logo, definitely. Like
This is a good one.
Theater.
yeah, because like the theater, that's that was a present from a conference. But the theater masks, because I used to work in the theater. I was an actress and stuff, so I just liked that. I was attracted by the logo.
Nice. I didn't know you were an actress. I mean, like our colleague Alexa. I mean, your friend too. I mean, she also used to perform, so you have a lot of connections.
I worked with Jared Leto on a film and all back in the day, but before he was like mega. Well, he was still famous, but like me and him were up together. He made loads of money and I didn't. Oh well. Okay. So if you go to the testing sidebar, sorry, Josefine, go ahead.
Lots of unexpected turns on this call.
I know. You should never put a load of girls on a call to do coding. We just talk about everything.
Right? We make that mistake every month.
Yeah. Or maybe just because of the summer, all the hate will do the trick.
Yeah, that's true also.
So you can click on the testing sidebar toolbar like icon, this testing test tube or whatever you want to call that, right? And this is where all
Breaking Bad symbol. Okay.
yeah, this is where all your tests are, right? So in here we've got a very simple example test, and you can close that terminal, get rid of that, so it's just out of the way.
Yeah.
And you can see here, like we've given you like a very simple test, but this is probably too simple. So let's do something different. Let's go back to the file icon in VS Code. Yeah, that file thing, Explorer. And in the test example folder, I've got like a demo to do test. So drag that, drop it into the test folder.
Okay, because it's in another.
Because Playwright will read the test one. That's just an example, so you can just see how to write tests. So now we've got a load of more tests, right? Which is nicer. So what we can do is, if you just press the green triangle on any one of those tests, doesn't matter which one, just choose one.
In these ones instead of there. Here?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can just press that, and it's going to run that test, right? So this is a demo test already written for you, and it's a green check mark, and you're like, okay, the test passed, right? Now, do you believe that passed?
No, because this is...
Oh, I don't think so.
I mean, you don't know, right? But you just like, I wrote that test, so you just have to believe that it passed, right? And that's like developer confidence when you're writing tests. You kind of, you need to either make it fail or you need to understand the tests, right? So what we first did was we brought in show browser. You see the checkbox on the left where it says show browser?
Here.
So check that, and now run the test again.
Okay, can I run it here also?
You can, of course,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, there's so many place buttons everywhere. Oh, okay, I open it in another one, wait.
Yeah, so a browser window will
There's so
pop up,
many,
and there's your test. Now, if you like run that again and quickly change your screen.
Oh, but then let me close this one, otherwise we'll be a mess.
And just to kind of like see if we can see it at the same time. So bam. Okay. And okay, right. Test passed, right?
Love it.
So Playwright is super, super fast. And this is the problem in a way. When you're watching that test, you're like, I don't know if that did it right, because it looks good, but did it actually, did that check mark happen? Did this happen, etc.? So then if you go back to VS Code, what we invented was a trace viewer. So show trace viewer mode, which is like UI mode. And now if you run that test, watch what happens. This is amazing.
What it is? Oh no, it opened in another one.
In another window. That's
Yeah,
okay.
that's okay.
Right, give it a second to load. It's still doing its thing. So let's make sure it did it right. Just go back to VS Code and see what's happening there. It's still running. No, it ran it. Okay, so now click on that test because you ran it from there, yeah.
Where I
click on
need to... Here?
Yeah, run it from there, or like just like it just needs to know which test that you're actually running. So okay, so there's a test you're running. Bang. So it ran it again really fast. You didn't see anything. But now, no, stay there.
Okay.
Go back. Now what you can do is on the left-hand side, it has all the actions, and you can hover slowly back and forward over all the actions and really see what's going on at each step.
Okay, so it's more adding them. It's adding them. What is the...
Feels like we're using dev tools, but in testing.
Yeah.
Kind of,
And actually,
right? And
this one is like the network. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. And what are these blank pages? Okay, because it was loading, so our page is really
Yes.
slow. We can print it.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So now if you select one of these, like, okay, this one here, and then just click on it, any of those. And now if you go to the action before and after, so at the top of that image, which is a DOM
Here,
snapshot,
isn't
you
it?
can, yeah, what happened before, what happened after.
Nice.
So you can
This
see
is just
like,
filling
yeah.
the text. And then here we have the text and then added. Nice.
exactly. And now if you wanted to debug that, say something was wrong, and you're like, couldn't figure out why it was happening, you could click on the pop-out button, which is in the middle screen. There's a little kind of a square with a little arrow pointing to the right.
Here?
No, just above, like where it says before and after, and scroll all the way
Okay.
across. No, over. Keep going. Yeah, stop. There we go. So you pop that out, right? And now you have the DOM snapshot of that state of the test. Now you can open Chrome DevTools right here.
No way.
Yeah.
And it's the app.
snapshot.
It's not that. Yeah, it's not a snapshot like a screenshot.
Exactly. You can change
Okay.
the CSS. You could like change the color of that text or whatever. So you could try and
that's
like
amazing.
understand. Like say there might be a CSS hidden or something like that displaying
Oh,
none.
nice.
And then you can kind of like figure out what's going on.
That's really good. And then if there is any errors, I can see it here.
Yeah, they've got the
Also,
console
okay.
and the network as well if there was requests and stuff.
Oh, really cool.
This is much more
Nice.
visualized. I really like it. Because
Oh, and we can play with the snapshots. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's smart. Nice.
Yeah, okay, so you can close that. And now we're back in here. And you've got on the right-hand side, you have the call, the very right.
Oh, the right, sorry. The right, the left.
So you've got the call, the console, the network. So see the tabs there. That's a console. The network, if there were network requests, you'd see them. And the source code of all your tests, right? So it's highlighting that's the actual line of the test as you're hitting each of those actions.
Oh, nice.
So you're going back and forward and you can see what line of tests wrote that action to do that specific thing.
Nice.
So another thing you can do is if you're trying to debug something and you're like, maybe your test is broken. We probably should have broke something, but it doesn't matter. You can use the pick locator button. That's beside the action button, just above the DOM snapshot.
Okay,
And
so
now you
you
can-
can... Okay.
Yeah, and then as you hover, yeah, you can see it's like Alba has it really small there, so if she made that bigger, you'd
Yeah,
probably
let me-
see what's going on. So you can see it's like giving you the actual locator for that element on the page.
Nice.
And if you click that, say click on that one, right? It's put it in the box, which you can then copy it.
Yeah.
And then you could go into VS Code and you could change that. I think Grammarly everywhere.
I can like
That's not part of Playwrite.
perfect. Yeah. Actually, I didn't know if it was showing in the screen or not. Good to know. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
so
really
you just
cool.
take that locator, then go back to your VS Code and put it in your and
Nice.
change it and then fix your code and stuff. So it's a really nice way of going through your tests, right? And kind of
Yeah, it's
understanding
amazing.
it, seeing the developer flow, seeing if you missed anything.
Yeah, that's
One of the-
amazing. I think I never saw this kind of playground. I don't know how to call it. But in the beginning, when I saw Playwright, was like running the browser and allowing you to actually let Playwright to write the test for you by clicking on the things. But this one, I never saw it. It's really cool. What?
Yeah, this is only a couple of months old.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah, you like the show Trace View in VS Code is actually the latest release. So it's literally like a couple of weeks ago. And before that, you could do True Terminal with UI mode. That's a couple of months ago. And the Trace Viewer was always there for debugging on CI. So anyone who's seen this before and go, I know what this is. That's been available for debugging on CI from a long time. Instead of videos, because videos are just videos.
No, this is amazing. I mean, you did really nice improvements. I think, yeah, we need to change it in our things, girls.
So let's write a test.
Okay, let's do that. I guess here. How we call it?
Okay, no, you can. All right.
No.
Okay. I'll let you do the hard work, and then I'll fix you. Go on. Call it test. Call it whatever. Call it.
Okay, like.
I'm gonna watch.
I'm so bad with naming.
I'm gonna watch the stuff.
Oh, I'm also terrible too.
Page generated.
It's okay. We're gonna judge
It's
you.
good. It's good. But yeah. Okay. Start writing your test.
Okay, so I guess at first I will see how it starts, and it seems that we can import things like this and expect that has some sense. And let's say that we don't have any type yet, and then I think I want to get a section like this. It is really long, so I will just create my own. Actually,
I love this.
It has helpers. Like if I try to grade it, the extension will help me like this. Okay. And usually tests start with, like parentheses and then the name. So let's say, I don't know
Having
what I want to test. Having fun. I like it.
Debbie's having fun watching you.
Yeah. Messy.
It's interesting how people say they've no time for testing, but they spend so much time on naming things.
Yeah, for sure.
True.
That's
now we're sharing like another like common pain. I thought I'm the only one taking so long, thinking about the names.
Okay, it seems like some kind of page is coming, but that's only here in every test. It's something generic of Playwrite.
Yeah, so the page is your web page. So it's a fixture that we use to be able to get the browser page.
Okay, get it. And then usually we expect and we await the spec. Okay, but what we want to test. Okay, so if I just do this and then wait.
So you can see that Alba has absolutely no idea what she's doing. So it's quite fun.
Exactly.
And I'm enjoying every second of it. This is why I said I'm not sharing my screen. I'm going to let you do it.
Do whatever.
And this is why I get why Alba's saying I don't have time to test. I understand now.
No, but actually in Cypress, I know that in Playwright, never. I never try. And actually, I don't know what I'm testing because this
You have no idea. You have no idea. Okay, let's stop the pain. Let's stop the pain.
Okay.
Right, because you'll try and figure all this out, and it's going to take long, and it'll be tomorrow, and I'll have to come back. So let's just stop the pain, and let's go and do it my way. So my way. Let's go to the testing toolbar. That thing here, and let's click on Record New.
That's the one I saw the last time I used Playwright. Yeah, that's probably a lot better. It actually works, actually.
Right. So now go to whatever website you want to test, your own website, a Storyblok website, it doesn't matter, whatever you want. It could be whatever that spelled app is going to.
Nice.
And now what are you going to do here? I don't know. You can test whatever, you know this website better than me. So what would you do? You click on that button, okay. And then you can, email and type in an email.
Okay.
I mean, we're gonna maybe do the sign up or something. This is sign up. Create your account. Lovely.
Yeah, I maybe invented also the domain just in case. It probably will fail, and that's what we want to test. So
exactly, but we just want to see that,
Okay. So if I click around, it's already saving things.
Yeah. So if you go back to VS Code, you can actually see. You can close that other window if you want to.
Yeah, because we have it here.
Yeah. So you can see in VS Code everything that's already been created for you. So in that space of time where you were taking to write everything, like we've already generated all that for you. We've done the away page, go to storyblok.com. We've done get by role link. It's using the accessible roles that although it looks like a button, it's actually a link. And because you have more than one link saying try for free, Playwright has had to say, oh, I need the first one, right? Maybe you should change that so there's not the same button on the page saying try for free.
Yeah.
That's up to you. But it doesn't matter. But yeah, so then it's clicking that and then it's saying get by the placeholder. So again, you have a very good accessible site. So well done, Storyblok, on that. Into your email, it's clicking. And then you filled in that, my fake email. And then it's the placeholder, your password must be, and you've clicked that and then you've filled in. And then here we've got a locator sign up. So this is where your accessibility is not good here. So it wasn't able to find an accessible role. So I just went and found the CSS class of it. So check that out. And it clicked that and then it's getting by the text. Please fulfill the requirements. It's clicking it. And again, here you've got a div and it has to filter out the div to find that. So you can improve that code. You can improve your HTML now based on that test, right?
Nice.
Now this test will fail for sure, but you could go ahead and run it just for the fun, just to kind of, just press the cancel button so it stops generating.
This is actually really amazing. I'm actually so impressed and speechless.
Yeah, actually, we don't have any expect.
The hardest part of what you need to use your brain the most is already done. All you need to do or all you want to do is like here is the fundamental. Have a look at it, review, and if there's something you want to change, modify it. That's the part you want to, just do the work, not the painful part.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Oh, love the dot. When you click on something,
where it's
appear. That's really cute.
So the only thing that the generator doesn't do is the assertion. So then you have to go and say, I expect this to be equal to this. I expect this to be visible. But obviously if you're filling out that email, it has to be visible for it to be kind of filled in. So expecting that's working. And then obviously when we press sign up, we'd expect to go to whatever page, whatever URL that brings you to once we've done that kind of process and stuff. So the point is that it's really easy to get started with testing, get something out there, make that one tiny assertion and just, check your website. And then also you're checking your accessibility as well at the same time.
That's really cool. It's amazing.
I didn't know it's so close related to the accessibilities, maybe just lacking out of my knowledge, but by testing it, I learned a lot of, things like, this part we need to actually have a look deeper for the accessibility. But without testing, I don't have any clue.
Yeah, because sometimes I remember that we were putting data /CI in order to call to the element instead of having a role or a proper setup of the HTML. So that's the thing. I think in Cypress, I was doing data CI always. So
Cypress advocate for that. That's how they built their, testing to be, which is fine. And sometimes testing by test ID is necessary and totally fine. But generally, you should be testing as close to the user as possible. The user does not know what a test ID is, never sees what a test ID is. So if you test as close to the user as possible by testing what they see a button, they see a link. What a screen reader reads out is even better. What will the screen reader read out? They will read out role link, role button, whatever. And if you can test as close to the user as possible and write your tests that way, you'll just have a much better website. It's much better.
Oh, it's amazing. I love it. And did you actually work on the project itself? Did you already code something inside Playwright, or you are not allowed?
Oh no, I'm totally allowed. It's not not. If Playwright is open source, anyone is allowed to make a pull request to Playwright.
Oh, nice. Then let's advocate for that.
You can totally do that. But we have an amazing team of engineers who are generally doing all this kind of stuff. And my role is more on making sure people like you, Alba, know how to use Playwright and are not suffering and like manually writing it
Nice.
and getting
I
frustrated
like
and
that.
saying,
I was
"This
sweating.
takes too
If
much
I'm
time."
honest. I was sweating. He's like, oh my God, I don't know how to code anymore.
It was so mean of me. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have fun.
Be experimental.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use the product more than make the product, if that makes sense. And as a user, I'm advocating for the product and for all the other users out there. So I try and like feel the pain that you have before you have the pain, so that we can fix the pain.
That's really cool. Yeah, you did it. Only with the extension, I was already freaking out. I mean,
Yeah.
really, I don't have to run commands myself. That's like,
Yeah, me too. It feels like I'm missing something on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, simpler is better. So we just need to get used to.
yeah, it's amazing. Love it.
Yeah.
And what is this boogie icon here?
That's for debugging. So if you wanted to debug the code, it would like run it in debug mode, and then you can go like step by step through it.
Oh.
And you also create this kind of pop-up.
Well, most of this is true VS Code and stuff. So like we're using, obviously VS Code is pretty amazing. So we take advantage of what they have. So like you could add a breakpoint, add a breakpoint in there, which is like press a red dot. Yeah. And then you could run that test and pause it at that point and then go through it.
Oh, amazing.
That's really cool. It looks like you already have a really good developer experience in place. What are things that you can share that are on the roadmap that you want to improve even further?
Yeah, like I really, really want this, we call it code gen, that generator. I really want it to generate assertions as well. And like, it's not easy. So I'm just thinking in my brain, how would we make this happen? Well, if I clicked on the URL, no one's going to click on the URL, right? So that should be an assertion. Expect URL to be blah, blah. If I was to click on a heading, no one's going to click on a heading because there's not a link. So if I clicked on a non-clickable event, right? Or not event, a non-clickable element, that it was able to kind of say, oh, I think she wants it to be an assertion. And even if it just put to be visible and then I could like modify it to be, I don't know, whatever, that would be a great help, because right now we do have to like manually put await page, expect, la 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 to be blah, 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 right? So if it could just generate that for me, that would make my life easier. And I know that I'm working on them, so maybe they are going to implement that. I can't guarantee it. I got my show trace viewer button. That was my last thing I advocated for, and they made it happen. So it's like, yes, this is so cool. But there's lots of things that people want. And I would say if you're a Playwright user and you're like looking for a specific feature, to like just go to the GitHub repo and just put in a feature request, or search first, because maybe there's one, and upvote it. We look at all those upvotes. We like, basically filter by upvotes, and then features are done based on upvotes and the possibility of them happening, right? The most upvoted feature is testing on mobile applications. That's not something that's very easy to do. So that's, yes, we'd love to do it, but we're not focusing on that because it's a whole different ballgame. We're browser based, but everyone wants this. So maybe it will happen in the future. I don't know, but keep upvoting things because that's how we make features happen. We listen to the users.
Nice. That's really cool. Yeah, that's how it should be, for sure.
Yeah, and it's really cool that, the Playwright is complete open source. I actually didn't know about it. So I guess this link is the one, right? The one I just shared.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So whoever wants to contribute, or, I don't know, like they say something, then we can just go over here and then, contribute, right?
Yeah, and we have a Discord server as well. So initially, like, you could join our server and say if you were out there and, had a question or a doubt and you wanted to just like get some feedback from the community, you can throw that question into the help channel. Someone will help you out. If you have a video or an article that you've created, you want to share your blog post, like throw it in there. We always love when people share what they've done with Playwright and what they've learned, or, everything that helps other people. We're really up for that. So like, join our Discord server.
Nice. You already have a nice community then.
Yeah, we have a very cool community.
Cool.
Then I can stop sharing the screen.
Yeah, you can stop sharing. I think you've done enough. You've done enough suffering.
Well, I'm free.
Today was quite intense.
Yeah, so much pressure on me.
I was studying
did
for
great.
you.
He's like, come on, Palette, what was that?
If I do know how to test, I do know what I'm doing.
Right, what's my name?
You feel the pain for the users, right? I mean, like, if you're already expert about using the product you're working on, you cannot realize, But if you're new to the product and being told, like, oh, go there, do that, you feel like, oh, okay, how do I do it? Where is it? Where to find things? So I think this kind of moment is very important, because that's how your users would experience. So I think
you did a good job, Alba.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm messing up.
Great job. Well, actually, time flies, and it's actually almost the time to wrap up our stream, isn't it?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
The bugging takes so much time.
Yeah, okay, I think by wrapping up, I want to ask you this question. Any tips or any specific, let's say, tips you have for the first time we're using the Playwright? Or anything you want to share?
So I would say to do something that nobody does, which is read the documentation.
Read it out. Read it out.
But we have a very simple getting started guide, and it goes through it really, really easy. And if you're going to use Visual Studio Code and you want to use the extension, it's just one page doc, and it will take you through, and there's screenshots, and it will take you through step by step how to do everything. And then in a matter of like 7 minutes, you'll have a test written up and running. So I would say if you just follow that guide, do that, and then like basically say, okay, I like this, I want to do more. Then start diving deep into the docs and look for other things like mocking and etc. But give it a go, because you'd be surprised at how quick and easy it is to just get started and write a very simple test. Take a menu, take something easy and just test it. And we didn't do it today, but then like literally push it to GitHub and watch your code just run on that GitHub Actions out of the box. It's really, really fun.
Okay, so read the docs, and I like this, right? Because I'm kind of that person, always go into there.
Yes.
So, and I hear a lot from, like whatever, new technologies that you're going to discover, all the people who are, like contributing or the creator of it, they say that. They say the same. So, yeah.
There's also videos on that docs pages. So
really? Okay.
Actually,
Okay.
like if you don't want to read the docs, just watch the video and then watch the other video and then the other video and just pretend you read the docs.
Oh, I love that. Playwright is quite obsessed with the visualization, right? Visualizing the whole process of doing the testing.
For user journey.
Trying to make, like things easier for the user. Yeah. So I'm quite like impressed, let's say, like how you're like actually understanding what's the pain point of the users and already have in place. So
I think if we want to get more people testing, we have to make testing easy and fun, because people think testing is hard. People think testing is boring, and it's not. It used to be, 100% used to be, but it's so not now. So I want people to give testing another go. Those who gave up on it years ago, and anyone who's new, especially junior developers. I want to see more junior developers testing. I want them to get pay rises like much more sooner.
Right.
Yeah, but that's true. That's true. With the visualization, it's different. And of course, if you can click around and everything already pop up, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel actually jealous for the future junior developers or the current junior developers.
I know.
Because I remember reading all the docs from testing, where when I had no idea what's going on, I have to figure out.
I remember using this cafe.
Oh.
It was painful. Yeah.
Old times. But anyway, I guess we should probably stick to the time, although it was super, super fun. But before we get going, we have like the next streaming announcement. So everyone can already sign up to get ready for the next episode. So if you're interested in, or please be interested in it. The content would be like to be announced, but we're kind of finalizing what you're going to cover or discover together with you. So the next episode we're going to have is going to be on July 27th, about a month from now on. And the time would be similar to today. So 4 p.m. From the Central European time zone. So
yeah, and if you have any requests for topics or for guests, We can't guarantee, but we always try to accommodate that. So please feel free to reach out to us.
Yes. Anything you would like to share as a last comment, Debbie, before we say goodbye?
I would say if you're out there and you're coding and you're thinking like, I can't do this, I need help, like we all feel that and we've all been in that situation. So never be afraid to ask questions. Put something in, like public question asking is hard, but we need to get more people doing it, because remember, if you're going to go into that job and ask that question, you need to ask that question to that engineer, to that manager, to whoever. So get used to just asking a question, whether it be in the Discord channel, on GitHub, on Twitter. Don't DM someone. Put it right then out there. No one's going to laugh at you. We all have the same questions and everyone else is going to benefit from the answer to that question. So don't be afraid to just like ask for things, and reach out to me on any of those channels. If you have any Playwrite questions, please use public channels because we will be there to support you. But 100%, don't be afraid.
Oh, that's nice.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Then I guess with that, we can wrap up this training. Thanks again, Debbie, for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It was too quick. Again.
Yeah,
Now we can go together for a run.
Yeah. Can we please do another one on extreme sports? Just further.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, maybe we'll make a series of videos in YouTube, I think, running and explaining things.
Running in the forest, yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know. I gotta check it out.
That's so cool. Thank you so much for joining us. It was inspirational on many different levels.
Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Debbie, and have a nice day.